Hey, ladies, welcome. Welcome to the Sunday evening session for Black Women Making Money on this channel. Our whole goal is to help Black women ultimately achieve $200,000 plus in income in their households. That could be, a primary gig, a side gig, a business, things like that. And this one young lady here is a fan of the channel. I'm a fan of her channel. So I wanted to have her on. We're going to talk about the future of work this evening and some of the things that are happening now, some of the jobs that we need to prepare for. There is a stat that says that 4.5 million Black people are set to lose their jobs by 2030. And McKinsey did that report in 2019 before COVID. So everything has been accelerated now. So what we want to talk about tonight, because I don't believe in just like, how do we get from 45,000 a year to 60,000 a year? I ultimately believe like, how do we make sure that we are going to be employable or going to be able to compete years from now, and that is what I want to talk about today. So legacy is a lifestyle is in the building. Hello, my dear. All righty then. So I'm here with Computer and Coin. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much, Cherie. I'm very thankful to be here, and I appreciate you reaching out in solidarity and the content that you put out that is positive, that is helping not just Black women, but all women. It goes a long way. It's definitely a breath of fresh air in the YouTube space. So I'm excited to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Selfish Love is in the building as well. Hello, my dear. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to create the channel that I wanted to see. There's a lot just of stuff out there that I just was like, it's not really speaking to me. And I feel like, first of all, Black women are, getting the most degrees, yet we still aren't on par with our counterparts with regards to equal pay. So I kind of wanted to dive into that on my channel. And I also wanted to figure out how we could start more businesses, but actually have businesses that are thriving, that are actually bringing us the take home pay that we would need so we could live in great neighborhoods and, have the best health, get the best health care, things like that. So, yeah, so, I'm super passionate. And sometimes I wonder if some of the topics I'm talking about are actually making a difference. But I will get people in my comments saying, oh, no, what you said there made sense. So I really love that. So, Selfish Love is saying Cherie's content is a breath of fresh air. I'm so sick of hearing about relationships. Me too. But okay, y'all, but I do have a video coming out on one of my business channels. They had a segment in one of the podcasts I listened to about how to tell if a man is going to be a billionaire. Now, they did it for business purposes, but I'm going to share it for you ladies just because, every once in a while we have to kind of talk about stuff like that. So,
and it helps. It really does help when you talk about Cherie, about ensuring that women are setting themselves up financially, not just for themselves, but also for their families and the relationships with the people around them. That is a part of it. Ensuring that your money is in a good place and having good stewardship over it is right.
Absolutely. And we definitely need to have that for ourselves, for your, children. If you have any children, you kind of want to really think about that. So, so tell us about your YouTube channel. Like, how did you get started with YouTube? What are the topics you talk about?
Yes, thank you. I got started with YouTube. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for over 24 years, and 19 of those years I have worked in tech. And there are nurses working in tech. The more I'm starting to talk about it, I realize not many people realize that nurses do work in tech, and there is a lane for that. So I decided to talk about not just being a nurse, a registered nurse working in tech, but just technology and money. Technology and money are two of my favorite topics. I love money talk. I love hearing about how to be better stewardships, a better steward of my money, my family's money, to ensure that we are in a good place and learning from other people, which is why I was so excited to come across your channel. So on my channel, I talk about technology and money. If I come across an interesting topic, I cover that, and then I also do videos around nurses, registered nurses working in tech, and people. The more my channel is still growing, but I'm
Mhm.
starting to get more and more people asking me questions, and so that's what I wanted to talk about. And it's been a good journey. I started the channel about a year and a half ago. It's definitely been something to learn about. And so I'm just operating from a place of wanting to talk about the topics I like to cover and answering
Mhm.
people's questions where I can.
Yeah, yeah. My channel fortunately is growing as well, and you're just very appreciative of everybody who takes their time to watch your video, comment on it, ask questions, things like that. I do want to say, ladies, if you have not liked the video yet, please don't forget to
Yes.
like. Please don't forget to subscribe to Computer and Coin, as well as if you are not subscribed here, definitely do that as well. So, Selfish Love is saying, yeah, the 8 hour lives on submission, like I can't watch, I can't watch that anymore. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about that with regards to like not only if you're looking for romantic partner, but also just being able to look for a good small business that you think you want to grow with.
Mm.
Because I was at a conference that, one of the ladies that was there became the VP of sales of a startup company, and now she's worth seven figures because she hitched a ride to the right entrepreneur. So Selfish Love is also saying, I just subscribed to Computer and Coin. I had no ideas about nurses in tech. Yes. All righty then, you ladies are subscribing. I love it. So tell us a little bit about then some of the technology that you work with. Like, give us a little bit more information with regards to that.
Yes. So in the current role, currently I work in healthcare tech, and I work for a company where I lead a team of traditional IT people. No one on my team are nurses. I'm the only person that is a nurse on my team. So I
Mhm.
lead a team of traditional IT people who are analysts. We provide end-to-end support from technology consulting. I do a lot of vendor relations, contract management. In tech, we support healthcare technologies that are vended, meaning that we go out and purchase. So I do a lot of vetting of different types of healthcare technologies and assessing and thinking about the technologies not only that we are using right now in healthcare, but the technologies that we should be using 5 to 10 years from now. So we do what we call in tech life system cycle support. So very much end to end, implementing systems, supporting systems. We sundown systems. Some of the technologies I work on are geolocating technologies in healthcare tech, artificial intelligence, safety reporting, ensuring that systems are compliant around within cybersecurity. So it's many facets. It's very much end-to-end system support that my team and I do.
Yeah, it sounds like you definitely do a lot. Without getting into too much of your business, is this a six figure career for people to
It
consider?
is. It is. It is. It is a lot of opportunities, not only for nurses working in tech, but there are so many different ways and paths to get to a six-figure career in tech. But yes, it is, fortunately, thankfully.
Okay, so do you mind us just kind of digging down into that a little bit? Because I do want to start doing a tech series for ladies, because we as Black women, if we are looking for opportunities, tech doesn't just mean coding.
Right.
And one of the things that's really happening in tech is that coding is starting to go away. So a lot of people are saying code, 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 code. But I started hearing a couple of years ago that coding is starting to go away, and there are other skill sets that you need. The other thing is that not all of the tech jobs or not all of the jobs in tech are software related, coding
Mhm.
related. Tell us a little bit more about some of the things that you're seeing out there. Just giving some ladies some of the ideas with regards to how to break into the industry, some of the pathways they could take, things like that.
Sure. And so, what you said around the coding piece is really interesting. So, we are starting to see this is where the automation comes in. So, when you have, like, say, for very basic, say, if you're standing up a brand new server, there are steps that are repetitive that are done the same way. You do the same cybersecurity checks, you put the same type of software, hardware, all of it on a server. Well, it's now to the point where we, at least at the company that I work for and have other companies I've worked with in the past, where that is now automated, where it may take someone, I don't know, a day to stand up a new server, to implement it, a physical server. It's all virtualized. You can automate. There are scripts. So there are scripts that are written where it's automated to stand up a server. So that talks to the piece where you're talking about like coding going away, because that's like a repetitive and, with small changes here and there. So definitely seeing a lot of automation. I do know there are a lot of companies, not just in healthcare tech, but in tech in general. There are analysis tools out there where business and tech leaders, one of them is called a keystroke level model, or a KLM. And what a KLM does is allow a business leader to do an analysis on how long it takes an expert human user to do a task, then how long it would take a machine or some type of automated process to do that same task. So business leaders, and that's just one analysis tool. So business leaders now have the ability to run analysis to see, well, if I have a human being doing this task, coding, standing up a server, a host of other tasks, versus if I automate it, how much time will be saved? Can I have that human do more technical items that the machine can't? So a lot of automation within technology, especially in healthcare, a lot of artificial intelligence being embedded in the things that are being done. For example, trying to prevent patients from falling and having artificial intelligence built into the hospital bed. You look at a hospital bed, it looks like a bed, but they actually have smart beds that will weigh the patient, turn the patient, assess if the patient is losing too much weight, able to tell the nurse very quickly if the patient is getting up and at a high risk of falling. We're also seeing around ways to save time and also save money. So taking humans off of those repetitive tasks and having them do more technical tasks. And as you said, not all jobs in tech are software related. There's project management. If you've ever coordinated a family reunion or a girls trip for your friends, that's project management, or planned a large wedding or a large event. Project management, product management, quality assurance. So there are a lot of roles out there where you don't necessarily have to have a tech background to get into. It does help. And how to break into. There are so many ways. And I tell people all the time, it's good to look at what other people are doing, and that's okay, but don't get discouraged, because there are many different paths to get to the same end. So you don't necessarily have to have a master's degree,
No.
or you can have certifications. That goes a long way. Associate's degrees, experience. Like, for example, I'm a nurse working in tech, and I tell nurses all the time, just because you've never worked in tech, your clinical knowledge and your skills and your knowledge of healthcare operations and hospital operations, that goes a long way, especially if you have companies that do not have any type of clinical or nurse or doctor in their company. You're coming in with the clinical experience and they have the tech experience. So there are many different ways to get to the same end.
Yeah. And I will say that I don't want people to get caught up in just nursing. Like, this
Yes.
is across all industries. So if
Yes.
you have been in the legal industry, for example, for 20 years, there are certain technologies that are coming within the legal system. And you could, for example, do quality assurance, or you could do IT auditing, or you could do some other aspect and get into tech with those 20 years of experience in that field. So, you know, all fields are using this type of you're able to kind of take the experience that you have. The other thing is network, network, network. I cannot say that enough. In tech, it's who you know, going to, and somebody asked here what kind of conferences we go to. So I'm definitely going to get to that, but definitely like starting to network using Clubhouse in order to network with people in the industry or people in tech, using your LinkedIn, and then ultimately using, whatever industry um, conferences that
Yes.
are around. And for some of you, you're able to get your employers to pay for that as well.
Yes. I
So,
would challenge everyone to think, because all industries are being revolutionized right now.
mhm,
We know fast food is. The
mhm,
travel industry is. Think about 20 years ago, we had travel agents. Now you can book your own worldwide trip. Transportation is being revolutionized. So I know education is. So whatever industry you're in, start. I always challenge people or encourage people to look at tech, different tech websites, even YouTube, but especially the larger tech platforms that have like tech news, and just Google the field that you're in and see what technologies are being discussed and worked on. There are some skill sets within tech that transcend specialties, like cybersecurity goes from healthcare to
mhm.
legal to retail. So you can take once you have those core skill sets, you can pick them up and take them to another industry if you want to or you
Yeah.
need to.
So I will say that I am transitioning into tech sales.
Mhm.
And well, I have a couple of opportunities, and then I have one opportunity that's not tech sales, but it is a sales job as well. And there are a lot of different companies out there that are hiring
Mhm.
salespeople. So
Mhm.
tomorrow my video is dropping on tech sales, but if you ladies are looking for six figures, um, on up, because it's also commission based. You get a base salary plus commission, then tech sales could be a great way for you to
Mhm.
do it as well. So I'm going to read some of these here, and then I have a couple of articles to show. So Legacy is saying, I need to research where tech is headed in my field. I would absolutely suggest you know that, because what we don't want is we don't want to have Black women get kicked out of their jobs because they were not prepared,
Yes.
right? So that's a part of the reason why we're having this discussion today. Also, just overall, jobs are going to be changing. There are going
Mhm.
to be more freelancers,
Yes.
fewer employees. These companies are looking to increase their profits,
Mhm.
because the way these CEOs are paid is because they have to maximize profitability.
Mhm.
Well, the way that they do that is lowering their headcount. So there's a stat that says that 30% of jobs are expected to be automated in the next few years.
Mhm.
So you have to look at the automated tasks that you're doing. And yes, it may free you up, but ultimately, we don't want you pushed out without you having something else to fall back on. So, Legacy is also asking, will either of you be hosting any live meetups soon? I hadn't thought about that,
Yes.
but if enough people ask for it, maybe. Um, do you mind sharing the conferences that you all attend? I'll just start off by saying I recently attended Sisters in Sales, which is a great sales conference for, it's really women of color, but primarily Black women who uh, do technology sales. So that's a fantastic organization. I've been a part of it for about 5 years now. I also have a couple of other groups that I belong to, like networking groups in my local area.
Mhm.
But you throw a stone, you get hit a conference. So it really does depend on what you're looking to do. What
Mhm.
about you?
Yes, as a nurse working in tech, there are several conferences, and because it's such a niche, the work we do is so niche. People are surprised when I say yes. There are conferences. There is the American Nursing Informatics Association. That's a large conference that's held annually, and it's all nurses working in tech. And the interesting thing about that conference is you don't have to be already a nurse working in tech to attend, because they have workshops that teach nurses how to do data analytics, data visualization, how to write in different programming languages in cybersecurity. So that's one. Another conference is the Summer Institute in Nursing Informatics. That is held every summer at the University of Maryland in Baltimore. University of Maryland in Baltimore has one of the oldest schools in the United States for nurses working in tech, one of the oldest programs for nurses working in tech. I always encourage nurses to, if you're working at a healthcare system or a hospital, look at the systems that third-party vended systems that your company has purchased. Those companies oftentimes have conferences as well. The larger healthcare electronic health record vendors have conferences every year, such as Oracle Cerner. That is now the #1 EHR in the world. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. Epic is another one. They have annual conferences. Becker's has an annual health IT conference. There are several out there, and those are a few to get started. And then, as you mentioned, Cherie, starting local is great. So if you are a nurse in tech, start with your state nurses association. Oftentimes they'll have, it may be a small group, but they'll have a small group of nurses who meet quarterly or twice a year working in tech. And if you're working in healthcare at a hospital, just talk to people in your IT department. Oftentimes there are nurses working in there. People don't know that they're nurses because they may not have nurse in their title. So as you said, starting locally with your network is a great place to start.
Yeah, and a lot of people will promote their conferences as well. So I suggest on LinkedIn, following the different the association of whatever, and start following those organizations. And for the Sisters in Sales Conference, I got a scholarship to go. So yeah. So also, if you can't afford to go, because some of these conferences are pretty pricey, reach out to the organizers, because sometimes the sponsors will pay for people to, get in complimentary. So you can definitely let them know that as well. Legacy is saying, I wonder what technologies will be up and coming in the area of trusts and estates. I know that there's a lot of tech coming to real estate specifically. Trust and estates is, partially legal as well. I know there's a lot of tech coming. I was reading an article about some of the technology coming with regards to paralegals and legal research, which is supposed to greatly help paralegals, but also, people are going to be redefining their jobs with regards to that as well. So,
and I follow a lawyer on. Oh, I apologize.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I follow a lawyer on TikTok, and she talks about the technology that they use. She works in, they call it big law. So I think big law are those big law firms.
Those big law firms, yeah.
She works for one of the big law firms, and she has a series on her TikTok where she talks about the technology that they use. And I know she said they're now using a software when they're reviewing like 100-page contracts that helps them read through those contracts and find like changes and differences. So they don't have to read every single page. The algorithm within the software helps the lawyer do that.
Yeah. Everybody, don't forget to like the video, like the video and share and subscribe, not only to me, but to Computer and Coin as well. Blackwater Row, hello. Let's see here. Legacy has been in the legal industry for 16 years. Yeah, look, legal tech, I know, is a huge thing. So you definitely should do your research and don't be scared of it. Jump in. Arrow Demi Dive is saying, hello, Computer and Coin. She's going to be watching at 1.5 speed. I'm trying to figure out how long until companies take over my office job. I want my businesses off the ground before that happens. So this is part of the reason why I wanted to do today's session, because the more repetitive tasks that you have in your job description, the faster the computers will take over your job. And if you do all repetitive tasks, you are going to be unemployed.
Absolutely.
Let's just, take the band-aid off. That is how it's going to be. So this is where we talk about skill up, right? There needs to be some skilling up. I'm actually going to show a short video. I'm going to show the first 2.5 minutes of it as well, where they're talking about the skills that you're going to need to have in the future in order to be able to make it. So yeah, you're saying exactly. Yeah. So instead of getting caught up, I have a feeling, this is just my own conspiracy theory, that they're testing UBI now because they know that so many layoffs are coming. And this may be 10 years down the road or something like that, but you're going to have people who are going to be equipped for the jobs of 2030 and beyond, and a lot of people are not going to be. And either you're going to be poor or you're going to have your assets together, meaning that you have cash flowing assets, or you're going to have to pivot with regards to the type of skills that are needed for what's coming up. What do you think, Computer and Coin?
Yeah, I would challenge everyone, even once you have a set skill set and you are in a good place within your career, within your industry, don't rest on that skill set, because tech is such a dynamic, it's such a dynamic field. There's always changes going. By the time a technology hits the market and is being sold, trust me, there's already a technology in the wings that we may not be aware of that's going to replace it. I know the military does a lot. They have a lot of future technologies. There are a lot of in private equity as well. So I always say to people, don't just sit on the skills and certifications that you have. And say if you do have something, and you've had it for like a year, 1, 2, 3 years, go ahead and start thinking, okay, what else do I need to add into that? And not only focus on those hard skills, also take time to skill up in the soft skills as well. Your emotional intelligence, dealing with high pressure situations, being able to think on your feet. And so as you're skilling up on the hard skill side and sitting in class, also think about those soft skills as well, because when you have your hard skills and your soft skills, that really, really gives you a lot of power and a lot of leverage.
Yeah. I mean, Mary on our channel says it all the time that 250K is the new 100K. Wow. And in order for you to qualify for those positions, Computer and Coin is right. You need both. You need, the hard skills and you need the soft skills as well. So I want to do something here. I want to share my screen really quickly and show a couple of articles here. And you can chime in, Computer and Coin, and let me know what you're thinking of these things. So this was a McKinsey report that came out that said artificial intelligence is slated to disrupt 4.5 million jobs for African Americans who have a 10% greater likelihood of automation-based job loss than other workers. And yeah, this is from October 2019, but still, COVID accelerated everything. So this is not a rest on our laurels type of thing here. But let me open this up a little bit wider here. It says, while 22% of all jobs in the total workforce will get disrupted, meaning either killed or replaced by lower paying work, it's 10% higher for African American workforce. That means 4.5 million Black jobs could be displaced by 2030 without any intervention, according to McKinsey. They also said here, college education and gender will all impact how severely Black Americans face job loss. While the general Black population is 10% more at risk for job disruption, the number jumps to 30% for Black men without a college degree. Interestingly, while Black men face greater risk of job disruption from AI, Black women will see relatively fewer job losses. That doesn't mean we rest on our laurels, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Black women might lose jobs at a lower rate, not only compared to Black men, but also when compared to white and Asian Americans of all genders. I have my suspicions about why that is, but I'll read this last thing from Computer and Coin and I'll toss it over to you. Black women are currently overrepresented in jobs that will see growth in the next decade, like nursing assistants and home health aides. I I also believe it's cheaper to hire us, and we tend to do more in the
Mm-hmm.
jobs, in the offices. So,
And not negotiate too.
yeah, and we don't negotiate our salaries as well, et
Mhm.
cetera. So I'm just going to bring this up so everybody can see the yes. All right. What do you think with regards to this?
Yeah, it's really interesting. This article, I was reading one in the Harvard Business Review almost a year ago, and it was talking about artificial intelligence,
Mhm.
digital intelligence, and how us as employees or business owners or leaders can compare. And reading through the highlight of this article made me think about what that article said about. So you have like your high skilled workers, your high skilled or your upper class, your middle class, and your lower class. And in
Mhm.
that Harvard Business Review article, it said that the people in the middle will feel the greatest crunch as artificial intelligence and the machines replace those repetitive tasks. And the reason for that is because the middle, the tasks that they do that's repetitive, what will happen is about 3 or 4 of those, if you have 5 tasks that the middle person is doing, about 3 or 4 of those tasks will be shifted to the lower class workers to take on, which will give them the opportunity to come up. And then 1 or 2 of those tasks would go to the upper class, and then the people in the middle would be replaced with whatever the machine is doing. So I think about that crunch and the piece around the nursing assistants and the home health aides. At least I know in healthcare, there's a lot of work being done by MIT, also a lot of startups, and also over in the Eastern Europe and also Asian markets around robotics and adding robot nurses to help do the work that a nursing assistant does, turn patients, lift patients, which if you have a robot that can lift a 200-pound patient versus having 3 nurses do it or 2 nurses do it, and one of the nurses may hurt themselves, but you can have a robot do that work. Oh, yeah. Is that Moxie? I know Moxie is one of them. Okay, so
This is a Japanese robot. It's called Reba 2, but there are several that I've seen on
yes.
here. So
Yes.
yeah, this is one of the things I wanted to show people.
Mhm.
Yeah, so and there's also another robot as well that I've seen that has legs. So this is the one thing that I do think with the CNAs and
Mhm.
home health care is that over time, I think that the robots are going to replace CNAs,
Yes.
especially once Medicare agrees to pay for them. Now, that may be 2 decades off, but I'm just kind of warning ladies right now as well.
They're
So,
already in. They're already in those. Not this robot, but I know one of them is Moxie. Are already in U.S. hospitals. They're already being trialed
mhm,
in hospitals.
yeah,
There are healthcare companies that are in universities that are help providing subsidies to these hospitals to help trial them. So they're already in the market. So that goes to what you were saying and what we were talking about a few minutes ago around
mhm,
once you get a skill, not resting on the laurels of those skills, because tech is such a dynamic industry. So as you
yeah.
said at the beginning, think about those repetitive tasks, not just home healthcare, legal, other industries that a machine could easily replace. So yes.
Yeah. So Arrow Demi Dive is saying many companies will lay people off with no notice too. It will be employed today, unemployed tomorrow, hopefully with severance. So yeah, but severance is only going to last you so long. And then a
Mhm.
lot of people are going to move to being freelancers. But if they're freelancers with no additional skills,
Mhm.
that is only going to work for so long as well.
Right. Right.
So, and y'all know I don't blackmail bash on here, but the article, well, not but, the article said that Black men are going to be affected by this the most. So if you are married to a Black man, if you have a son, you know, really, really like talking with them now. And you don't have to tell them the game plan or anything like that, but dropping it in their ear, you know, that, hey, this is coming because it is really going to, they already have issues with employment. That's what they're saying, right? This is going to compound it. It really is going to compound it. So, legacy as a lifestyle is also saying I could become an expert in trust and estates technology. Yes, you can, my dear. Yes, you can. Do your research. I love how proactively you ladies think. We spend too much energy reacting to inevitable changes instead of getting ahead of them. That's the whole reason why I wanted to do today's session. So I got another article to show you. So let's see this here. So they have here 40 jobs lost to automation. They have some statistics and some of the things that you should know with regards to automation. So by 2025, 85 million jobs will be displaced due to automation. 39 million Americans could lose their jobs by 2030. 2,000 work activities across 800 professions could be automated. 81% of work tasks that could be automated by existing technology probably will be. Employers, 43% of employers are set on cutting down their workforce to make way for technology integration. So some of the jobs that we see potentially lost: food preparation. I have something to show y'all with food preparation. Retail salespeople, we already starting to see cashiers, store clerks, office clerks, cooks, secretaries and administrative assistants, bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing. I have to admit, my mother's a bookkeeper. I know accountants. I don't see that being shifted off as early as they're thinking here, but I just don't know the right people. So top 3 area CEOs plan to significantly increase in their long-term investments. 49% says digital transformation, 32% says initiatives to realize cost efficiencies, and 31% says cybersecurity and data privacy. Cybersecurity is really huge, ladies. If you all are looking to get into tech, definitely think about cyber. What do you think about some of the things that were in all of those charts there?
Yeah, I want to preference what I'm about to say. Well, I just don't want folks to be fearful on what we're talking about in terms of how you do work today may be different tomorrow. The fact that we are here having this conversation now before it actually happens holds a lot of weight. So you're getting feel empowered. I don't want people like, oh my gosh, my job is going away in 10 years. What do I have to do? No. So this is preparing yourself. So I want to preference that. And because I looked at that and I was like, oh, but now I was like, oh, no, we're actually talking about it. It's a good thing. It helps you prepare yourself. It helps you to prepare your children, your nieces and your nephews, and get you to start thinking for yourself and preparing yourself. So it's interesting. When I saw the facts there about, like, for example, the food preparation, the cooks, like I have to travel for work sometimes. Now, when you go in airports, there are no, you know how they have, like, you go want to buy a sandwich or a bottle of water. They're cashless and it's not automated, but there's no human there. You just walk up, pick up the sandwich you want, the water you want, you check yourself out. We see that like in the giant retail stores like Home Depot and Lowe's. They now have virtual food halls where you walk up and you may order a custom meal. You get your custom meal, but the machine is behind the scenes preparing it. But cybersecurity is it's one of those skills, as you noted, and as the article noted, that transcends all all industries and specialties. And then I am also seeing, particularly in healthcare tech, but also other industries as well. Traditionally, at the leader or the top executive in a technology organization is a chief information officer or CIO. We're starting to see now where those titles are being converted to a chief digital officer or a CDO, because even the way technology leaders lead now or in the past is not the same that they're going to be leading in the future. So a lot more cloud. With the cloud, there's the cybersecurity. So there's a lot of changes out there. So that was a very interesting article. Are you going to put that in your description? I want to dive a little bit more into it afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely can. Yeah, absolutely. So, so then I wanted to show you something else as well. So let me come here and here we go. So this is, McKinsey does just a lot of great research and a lot of great work here. Yeah. So even though this is 5 minutes, I'm only going to show like the first half of it, but I want you to pay attention to people who are really talking about what the future of work is going to look like and what skills are needed. And I'm also going to start and stop it as well, so you can see where these people are coming from with regards to the types of positions that they have. Let me know if you can hear it, okay?
I think for young people today, what's clear is that they're going to need to continue.
Okay, so she's a partner at McKinsey Global Institute. I just want to make sure you all saw that.
Clear is that they're going to need to continue to learn throughout their lifetime. The idea that you get education when you're young and then you stop and you go and work for 40 or 50 years with that educational training, and that's it, that's over. All of us are going to have to continue to adapt, get new skills, go back possibly for different types of training and credentials. But I think what's very clear is that what our kids need to do is learn how to learn and become very flexible and adaptable.
The future.
Okay, so the first thing that she said was, our kids and us as well, you know, like I have another 20 years in the workplace, we need to learn how to learn. And a lot of us don't know how to do that. A lot of people don't know how to properly Google search for the answers to something. Or if they don't know how to do something, they don't know, like this, I go to YouTube for like the stupidest stuff, like how to cut a mango, right? But a lot of people wouldn't think of like, hey, let me go and like research that. Or I talked to a Black man once who teaches electricians. He teaches like newbies how to become electricians. And he said, one of the issues that a lot of Black boys have is that they never built anything before they came to his class, versus his white children or white young men would have grown up on the farm or something like that, and they would have built things before. So I think even, you know, if you, I can't tell anyone how to parent, but if you are the mother of a young man and, you know, encouraging him to go and look up some things on YouTube and like figure out how to build a computer from scratch or things like that. But learning how to learn is going to be essential for all of us, because I think we're looking at survival of the fittest over the next 20 to 30 years. What do you think with regards to that?
Yeah, it's really important learning how to learn, but also being nimble in how you nimble and very strategic as you're learning, and being able, how she said, to be flexible, being able to adapt. Sometimes, like, for example, if you're working in tech, like I work in tech, I lead teams now, but sometimes I still do analyst type work. And there are times where you are solving a problem to root. You are the person who is to solve that problem. And so being able to remain nimble and open-minded, and being able to stick with an issue until it's completely solved to root is going to be very, very important. Or it is very important now.
It is. It is. And I think that that's how you get to the six figures. That's how you get, a really good salary. And it's also why certain people are like the last fired, right? Because it's like, oh no, I could throw something at her and she's able to adjust and figure it out and do some research and things like that. And that's what a lot of employers are looking for. So, and when I say employers, like I've had my own business for between my mother and I and myself 15 years, like I wouldn't have been able to do that and survive and all of that without being able to think for myself and think independently. That's what my clients depend on me for.
That nimble thinking goes along, not just in your career, it goes a long way in life in general, and being able to solve and troubleshoot and stick with something.
Yeah. And T is here saying, I noticed that with the arts being more digital and new roles being created. Yeah, do the AI. There's even, this is also how I knew I wanted to get out of business plan writing, because there's also automation now that's going to be able to write business plans. There's automation that can write blogs for you. There's AI that can do that. So these things are getting very, very sophisticated. So, everything is going to transform, definitely. So let us continue with and everybody, don't forget to like the video. Please like it so that we can help the algorithm.
But I think what's very clear is that what our kids need to do is learn how to learn and become very flexible and adaptable.
The future of work that a college graduate is looking at today is so different from the future of work that I looked at when I was a college graduate. There's far less structure, there's far less predictability. You don't know or that you can invest in a particular set of capabilities today and that they will be valuable in 20 years. We used to be able to say, well, this is the career I'm going to choose. That's a difficult bet to make today with so much change.
I think more.
So what did you think of that? So he was saying basically the what you study in school may not ultimately be what you end up pursuing, right? And it also, like I wrote down, unpredictable from him. Like we have to be adaptable. What do you think with regard to that?
Yeah, as he was talking, I wrote how important it is to get plugged into professional organizations, because I know, there are, depending on the specialty you are, people have built their own communities within whatever their specialty is, but it's also important to stay plugged into those national and international professional organizations for whatever field you're into, because those organizations, they have resources, they have leverage, and can get connected into government and private company. And that's another way that you can learn what is coming in the future, like the immediate future and the long-term future for your industry. So I wrote a note, getting plugged into professional organizations if you're not, or reconnecting into those professional organizations, because it goes back to what Cherie was saying earlier about your network. They often say, it's not what you know is who you know, but oftentimes it's who knows you, and people say your name in rooms that you are not in, and being connected in to those professional organizations and your network is going to help you as well.
Yeah, look, that is my saying. It's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Most of the opportunities I get is because someone knows me. A lot of stuff, I've said this to you ladies before, I've never done before. I'm consider myself not qualified to do it, but people are like, yeah, but we know you can figure it out. Do you want it? Now, one of the other things that I don't know if they said it in this video or I read it somewhere, is that we need to start taking opportunities that are outside of our skill sets and our comfort zones. We need to start adding more skills to what we've been doing. So, you know what? It's in the freelance article that I was going to show. So the reason that you want to do that is because you want to have, now I'm not saying be a an auto mechanic today and an RN tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying at all. But within your specific industry, there are certain skills. If you're able to collect all of those skills or work on different projects within that industry, it makes you a lot more valuable as well. So,
and I love that you said that, because as you, not to be the person who just does everything within your company, but as your leaders see where they give you new tasks or have you learn new skills and see how you exceeded those or you do very well, that it adds more value to you. It also stretches your mindset, right? So it's a way to continuously help your thinking stay nimble, as I was saying earlier, staying nimble, because you're stretching your brain, you're learning new things, and you're just growing. So absolutely.
Aerodemi Dive is saying, I heard a plumber say 30 years ago that 90% of the information he learned in his early years is irrelevant today. We have to continue learning. Absolutely. Legacy is saying, we have to work in time to plan, think. I think she's trying to say we have to set time aside to plan, think, and execute now. Our capacity to look ahead is limited by our ability to accept and understand the critical but exciting times that we are in. Yeah, look, part of what I see when I go into these rooms with, like, Web3 people, whether it's the metaverse, robotics, I'm very much into blockchain, things like that. I see white men and Asian men. Oftentimes, I'm the only black woman there. Sometimes there'll be another black man there. But guess what? They want us there. They recognize the diversity that's needed. So we really can stand out. And look, I have no problem being the only black woman in the room. Like, none. I don't want to be, though. I think we can all get in there together. But what I'm trying to say is that it's a great thing for us to kind of take some time aside, and instead of 5 years from now being like, oh shoot, I lost my job, I didn't know, what was, I didn't know this was happening, to be able to kind of build up over the next couple of years, network with people in a specific industry, for example, and then have those people be able to come to you and say, hey, Computer and Coin, I really like you. You're doing this, you're doing that. You want a job? We just got $20 million in funding and we got product market fit. What do you think? We'll give you some equity, things like that. So that is how a lot of the white and Asian men in these startups, that's how they make their money. Is because they own shares and they own them early on. So
and I love what Legacy is lifestyle is saying. My mom had a saying, she would always tell us growing up, you have to prepare for war in a time of peace. Not that you're in war, but you have to always, no matter relationships, your money, career, what we're talking about here now, you always have to prepare for war in a time of peace. So when war comes, you're ready.
You're ready.
You have the plan. You just pick up your plan and you just run with it. So yeah.
Let's watch a couple of more of these.
Generally, what I tell students is that it would help if you had the skills that are required to deal with information, because those are the core skills that are necessary these days to help you learn new things, right? So this ability to learn things on your own, to some extent, will be driven by sort of the core skills you have in how you can deal with information, handle and process information.
I think the most important message is you need to prepare for yourself. And I think if we're waiting for, people are sitting back waiting to be candidly taken care of by a welfare state, I don't think that's a very good answer.
Yeah, we actually found that, for example, something like 60% of all occupations have on average 30% of the activities in those occupations that are automatable. So what does that mean? It basically means that we're going to see more people working alongside machines, whether you call that, artificial augmentation or augmented intelligence. but we're going to see a lot more of that. And that's actually quite important because it raises a whole sense of imperatives. It means that more skilling is going to be required to make the most of what the machines can do for the humans.
Okay, so what did you think about those things?
Yeah, interesting. So they touched on what we've been talking about earlier with the developing score six skills, self-pacing, and showing initiative for yourself within your career, not waiting for someone to come to you and say, "Hey, do you want to take this certification? Are you interested in this opportunity?" But what he said about the working alongside machines, we're seeing lots of that today within healthcare tech. The interesting thing about machine learning and algorithms and the different type of AI, the more you use it, the smarter the computer gets, right? Because AI is built
machine learning.
Yes, it's machine learning. So the machine learns, it gets better and smarter and faster. And they have found, for example, when physicians who do the lab diagnostics, for example, for breast cancer, when you have the experienced physician diagnosing and looking at tissue samples and combining that with the artificial intelligence, the accuracy of the diagnosis goes much higher than if you just had the physician doing the diagnosis by themselves, or you just had the machine doing the diagnosis by themselves. When you're combining the experienced human with the experienced machine, the accuracy goes up. So that piece around humans working alongside machines and how efficient. And again, the more you use the machines, the smarter, more efficient that they become.
Yeah. So I also want to say that I heard what the guy said about the welfare state, and I didn't take it personally, but I will say this.
Yeah.
America is moving into rich and poor. The middle class is getting crushed. There are business people out there that are saying that there may not be a middle class, for very long.
Yeah.
So basically, we as Black women, we're going to have a choice. Either we are going to level up or we're going to get left behind. Many of you know that they are planning on going out of space. I think that these billionaires and trillionaires know that the planet, from an environmental point of view, may not, be habitable at some point in the future. When you're looking at your legacy, when you're looking at your future children, will there always be racism? Yes, but I do think that green is going to speak, that money is going to speak, or whatever cryptocurrency we're ultimately going into. So, just thinking about that as well. How do you stay ahead and help your children and grandchildren stay ahead of what is happening? So Arrow Demi Dive is saying less human error, and Black Widow Rose is saying, yep, that's true. So I got one more thing to show. I actually have a couple more things. We'll go just a little bit over an hour, but I wanted to show this here. This is from Upwork.com. This is the Future Workforce Pulse Report. They did the last one in 2020, but this was, of course, during the pandemic. I don't believe that the overall concepts have changed, even though some of the percentages may be a little bit different. So companies will continue to be remote and are positively adapting. And I think a lot of us have seen that, where there are some employers that want people to go back to work, other employers who are still managing with remote work. I said on Friday's broadcast that 50% in certain cities, 50% of the office buildings are still at half capacity. So, 41% of Americans remain fully remote. This is according to 2020, but they had something else here that I wanted to show you. This is it here. 48% of hiring managers are working within dependent talent today, and 73% of managers who see the value in remote work are engaging independent professionals. So one of the things that I was told a few years ago was that there are going to be a lot of companies out there that will hire, like big companies, that will hire its workforce for a season or for a specific project.
Mhm.
They're going to be looking for specific skills, specific projects, and then once you're done, you're done. They're going to start reducing their employee headcount,
Mhm.
and a lot more people are going to be moving into being freelancers. So, what do you think about that, Computer and Coin?
Yes, I've seen it already in the company that I work at, or companies that I've worked with in the past, bringing in contractors to work on specific projects for a couple of months, or sometimes they're long-term contractors. So definitely seeing that, and just folks being able to, and even if you already have a full-time position, right? And I know you've talked about this on your channel before, Sheree, and I love it. Thinking about other ways you can use your skills beyond your full-time job, right? So independent, even if you have a full-time job, you still may be able to do consulting on the side with companies, with startups, and using your knowledge base, using all of your skills to get you want all of the coins. I want all of the money. I want to fire on all of my skill sets, right? So I have my 40 time. You'll have your 40-hour, your regular job, but do you have a skill in managing projects where you can manage for a nonprofit, and that's fine, but not always doing volunteer work, and finding ways to leverage your skill set to bring in part-time income.
Yeah. And everybody, don't forget to like the video. Please like the video so we can bless the algorithms here. So, yeah, one of the great things I think about being a Black woman is that we have learned to do more with less. We tend to be adaptable. So I think it is a matter of us really showcasing that and getting better negotiation skills with regards to our salary, with regards to any kind of consulting work that we're doing, things like that. But I do believe in us, and I believe we can do very well over the next 10, 20, 30 years if we position ourselves properly. Like what Aro was saying, we're moving towards a gig economy because it's cheaper. Yeah, so, the gig economy blew up, of course, with Uber, Lyft, TaskRabbit, Upwork, Fiverr, these types of places now. And yeah, a lot of employers are like, oh, we'd rather just hire somebody as an independent worker for this, this specific project or things like that. So, but I will say as well, doing that type of work or this type of work really is about your own time management.
Yes.
Because you are not going into an office, all day. It requires you to be on your P's and Q's with regards to what is my deadline? Am I being extra communicative with the employer, whomever has hired me? How do I get that person to call me over and over again? Like I have a lot of people who continuously come to me with any kind of writing project that they have because they're like, I don't know anybody else who could do it. Please, please, please. So, but you kind of want to be that person. You want to be the only person that they could think of when they need X, Y, Z, right? I do think that you do want to specialize in something, but you want to make sure, like within your specialty, like how to do a lot of different things within that specialty. Again, I'm just saying we're not selling, appliance repair and office organization, but within office organization, and there are still going to be a lot of offices that need to be organized. Can you set up the CRM system? Can you set up, the filing system? Can you get the cybersecurity set up? Can you manage all of these things? There are going to still be a lot of services that people need,
And being able to articulate Well, be understanding what those key performance indicators are. What,
Mhm.
like if you are an independent contractor, or if you're still working for a traditional employer, I always say you should never get to your mid-year or your end of year review and not able to articulate
What you've
how
done.
you delivered on your organization's or your leaders' key performance indicators, and being able to document that and being able to show how you add value or how you have added value or how you have performed and not only met those expectations, but exceeded those expectations.
Absolutely. Legacy is saying with independent contracting, this is our opportunity to legitimize ourselves as small businesses and govern ourselves accordingly. So, because we are opening up so many businesses, we're really ahead of the curve. And I honestly foresee that with us because we're in a position now where we are able to set up our businesses and 5 years from now say, look, my business is 5 years old. I've done these projects, and you can have that second stream of income coming in. And that way, if your first stream, gets a little weird or you need to leave or whatever, you have options. And that's one of the biggest things that you want. And Black Widow Row agrees. So,
My mom,
so
I know I talk about my mom a lot, but she growing up, she always would say, you as a Black woman in the world, I mean, this applies to all women, no
mhm,
matter what race or how you identify. She always used to tell me, you got to keep a ram in the bush. You got to keep a ram in the bush. So
love
if
it.
things go left, you can, like you said, you have options.
Mhm,
So your ram in the bush may be additional skill sets. Maybe you don't use them every day and you don't execute them on every day. But if something dries up with your primary stream of income, you can go to your ram in the bush and you can just keep going as if
Yep,
nothing has changed.
yep. So let's have a little fun before we leave.
Okay.
So, it may seem sad, but I think it's a little fun. So I'm obsessed with robots. So this is Alfred, the QSR robot. So look, this is coming to Chipotle, right? A Chipotle near you, where you will be able to go to a kiosk, put in your order, and the robots will be actually like making your salad for you, your burrito, things like that. So, and you can again chime in anytime you want to. Now, this is, I wish I'd invested in this company years ago if I had known about it. This is your robot cooking at home. There are robots cooking in restaurants now and things like that. We're going to get to a point one day where we are going to pull up our smartphone. It's going to be 3 o'clock. We're going to say, hey, we want linguine tonight.
Mhm.
And the robot, it won't just be the arms. This is actually the chef that they use in order to like mimic his what do you call it? His movements. Um, but the chef robot in your house that you pay $99 for per month will go into the refrigerator, get all of the ingredients, and have your food ready for you when you get home.
And that can be a positive thing. So you think
Yeah.
about as our population is aging and people are living longer. A lot of people like to age in place, meaning like they want to age at home. So this would allow senior citizens, or if someone is living with a disability, to be able to maintain independence and be able to stay in place where they are. So there's definitely some positives to embracing these type of technologies for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that we need to adapt. So I'm in Flippy. I'm on Flippy. Okay. I don't know what that is.
Is Flippy the robot that does the fast food the fast food? Is that what Flippy is? I think.
Okay. I've never heard of Flippy, but look, there are a lot of them that are out there. There are a lot of these companies that are out there. So let's see another one here. So these are actually out right now. These are robots that actually serve you. So if you are in the food service industry, there's the robots in the back that are cooking, and there's also the robots in the front that are serving as well. Another thing I want to show you, This is actually, I'm going to take it back here. Show you from the beginning. This is one of my favorite, even though it's kind of scary, it's Terminator-ish. These robots are nimble.
Yes, very much so.
What they did was they mimicked gymnasts in order to do this, and these robots are extremely nimble. So if you work in a what do you call it? If you work in a warehouse or anything like that, there are a lot of these robots. There are robots that are going to be helping law enforcement. These robots are multi-dimensional with regards to what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah. And again, and helping how we think about how they could help people. So I know they have exoskeleton robots. So people who may have disabilities or certain capabilities that they cannot do, they may be able to put on an exoskeleton or wear an exoskeleton that again helps them maintain a level of independence. So
yes. So this is the reason. Yeah, this is the reason why I really showed you that video that talked about the future of workforce and the fact that it's going to require people who can think and who can learn and who can adapt in order to make it. So I got one final one here to show you, and I call this RoboCop. This was in Dubai a couple of years ago, and I'll show you how big this thing is.
Looks very tall.
Very tall.
Okay, I thought it looks kind of tall. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the people there. Those gentlemen are probably maximum 6 feet. Yeah. So this is at least 8.5 feet robot. They have him walking around. Look. So yeah. One of the other things is, and this is not an indictment against the Black community. This is just me talking with you ladies. Black America is not competitive. Africa is not competitive, So in order for us to make it, we are going to have these conversations where we're able to look at what's happening and where we can fit in there. Because we don't own any of this stuff that's coming in the future. I won't say
having honest conversations again with yourself, with your family, with your friends, and even thinking about like where you can fit in and take advantage and learn and scale up. So it's not how Cherie was saying earlier, maybe you don't necessarily have the technical skills, but you can still work in tech, because even like with the robots, with the automation, with the AI, there's other elements to consider. There's ethical use of that. There's people who really need to look at the ethical use of these technologies and documenting that and doing the research on that. There's people who need to handle the compliance piece, right? Ensuring that these technologies are compliant. There are people who need to help understand the human element of that, right? So not just the machine and the technology, how it works, how human, I think, is it humanics? There's a word for
humanoids.
Humanoids. And there's a term for people who do specific work around how humans interact with the machine. So it's not.
I don't know that word.
Yeah, is it humanistics? Okay, so someone in the chat may understand, but even if you don't have the technology, the skills, maybe getting into the risk management piece. That's a whole specialty. And again, it's like cybersecurity, risk management is a whole nother specialty that transcends backgrounds. It's not just healthcare. It's not just legal, right? So
yeah, risk management is huge. I had a mentor trying to convince me to get into that years ago. Sunshine is saying fast food robot. Look, fast food as well as 5-star culinary robots are coming. Yes, this will be great for in-home care. So yeah, because I believe that there are going to be more older adults than younger CNAs that will want to take care
Mhm.
of them. And right now they're importing a lot of these nurses from the
Mhm.
Philippines and from
Mhm.
other places, but that's not sustainable. So
Right.
these robot nurses are coming.
Yes.
True Mystique is in the house. Hello. Um, yes. All right. Learning how to repair is the key.
Yes.
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 So if you or anybody that you know wants to learn about how to repair robots, you could start off with how to repair appliances.
Mhm.
There's Appliance Boot Camp. It's run by a guy named Michael Sneed.
Hmm.
Really, really nice guy. The class is like a weekend class for $500, and you could be making money on Monday fixing appliances. But once you know how to, it's like once you know how to fix machines,
Mhm.
then you would be able to fix the robots as well. So they are interesting yet creepy. I think they're going to be a part of our everyday lives. We'll replace soldiers too. Yes.
Yes.
And actually, soldiers are, there are fewer on the physical
Yes.
battlefields and more in
Mhm.
cybersecurity.
Right.
So we are already seeing that shift.
Yeah, I think they're already
Drone-
using like drones and
Yes.
sending the robots into the field and having a soldier at a command type center
Yes.
managing the robot.
But there's still a lot of PTSD with that. So if you're
Mhm.
into psychology,
Mhm.
because there's, from what I'm reading, there's still a lot of PTSD with that. RoboCop, yes, RoboCop 101. I'm getting iRobot vibes. Where's Will Smith? Wow, Monster. It's called Titan 2. Okay. They're already companions. Do you think we should plan to move to other more advanced countries for training and tech? I
No,
don't think we have to.
no.
I think what we need is here.
Yeah. And even if it's not here, we're all globally connected. I mean, there
Yeah.
may be people watching your live stream that literally may be on the other side of the world.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, YouTube University is a good thing.
Mhm.
And you can just connect with people and move from there. I totally understand that Africa and the Black diaspora across the world cannot compete at all. So we all need to get in where we fit in. Yeah. No, but consider getting a passport and dual citizenship. That's a possibility. I've heard a lot of people saying that. I definitely have my passport, but
Mhm.
I ain't giving up my US passport for nobody. Dual citizenship for sure. Risk management is a good field. Yeah, I've heard really good things, and people make good money in risk management.
Mhm.
So thank you, Sunshine. I'm saying loving this conversation. Yep, CNAs will only be older. A lot of younger people won't want to take care of the elderly. People don't want to do the physical labor anymore. Yeah, and it's just not enough. It's just not enough. So, final words from you. We went a little bit over my hour, but that's okay. I enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you so much. And some final thoughts. First of all, I want to thank you, Cherie, for hosting this conversation and challenging me, all of us, to start thinking differently. Right. So this is nothing to be fearful of with the technologies that are here. Trust me, a lot of these technologies are already here. We just may not be able. We just not aware of it. But also what's coming in the future, right? Because that helps us prepare ourselves, and having these types of conversations and having the dialogue really gets our thinking going. So I challenge folks to, and I do this on a routine basis. So trust me, everything I say that I'm doing myself, think about what your current skill sets are and what your gaps are and what you can do to fill in that gap, right? Looking at what's going on in your industry today, and what's going to be happening in the future, and getting connected. I was going to say also, when you were talking about Cherie, the future, there may not be like a middle class, like an upper class. It's only going to be like maybe an upper class and a middle class. And I think back to that Harvard Business Review article about artificial intelligence. And it talked about how AI is going to replace the folks in the middle, right? And that
Yes.
way you will only have the upper and the
The
middle.
upper class and the lower class.
Yes, yes. And so, and what you said about the money, right? The money, the racism and the issues, that's always going to be there. But like my mom used to always say, your green is talking so loud, I can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
right? And that's where the money piece comes in, right?
Yeah.
But just skilling ourselves up, keeping that ram in the bush, preparing for war in a time of peace, preparing your nieces, nephews, your daughters, and your sons. It's fun to do those creative things and encouraging their creative outlets, but also helping them build up those soft skills around nimble thinking strategically, their emotional intelligence, in addition to their hard skills.
Yeah, yeah. So Kat is in the house. Hello, hello. Don't worry about being late. You just roll it on back. We said a lot of great things tonight. So Sunshine is saying, I concur as a nurse. Fine womanhood. You know, I'm a big fan of your channel too. So I'm glad you are here. Thank
Love
you
your
for being
channel,
here.
Fine Womanhood.
Yes, you have a
I think she
great.
also has like a podcast as well.
Oh, okay. Good. Look, I loved your soothing voice. It's kind of like mine. So I like soothing voices. Black Widow Row is saying, do you know where we can access resources to learn Splunk? You should.
Absolutely. LinkedIn Learning is a huge resource. And if you're already working for an organization or employer, tap into to see if they have where you can get the advanced LinkedIn Learning. But even if they don't, LinkedIn is more than just the Facebook for professionals. There is a lot that you can do with LinkedIn and seeing what's happening in your industry, staying connected to recruiters and showcasing yourself. LinkedIn Learning, they have literally thousands of videos. And if you tell the LinkedIn Learning algorithm, I want to become a director of whatever, they will bring you videos to help you prepare for the next step in your career. So that's one great resource is LinkedIn Learning. And there are others out there, of course, YouTube, the Khan Academy, there's several others, but LinkedIn Learning is a great place to start.
Yeah. And everybody, don't forget to like the video. I know we had some people that just came in late. Don't forget to like the video for us, please. Catching the replay. I can't get enough of these conversations. I always leave with a ton of notes and ideas. Yes, good for you. This is great. Thank you for the wonderful info. Me too. AI and blockchain is where it's at. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. AI, blockchain, robotics, metaverse. The metaverse is going to be huge, ladies. So crypto.
Web3, all of those.
Yep. All of the Web3 industries. Get in where you fit in. Absolutely.
Digital wallets. There's a lot.
Yes. Google and YouTube University is a good start. Median to be comfortable is 150. Yeah. But our goal is 200 plus, ladies. So let's see here. Huge love. Subscribe to Find Womanhood. You're welcome. You're welcome. People just saying hello. Just want to make sure we've got all of these here. Yes, metaverse would be huge. Yep, absolutely. Okay, ladies. So I've got a couple of videos dropping this week. We're going to have a couple of lives. Tuesday's call-in show should be interesting because it is about if they won't build, then what are we going to do? So that's the Tuesday call-in show. I'm going to try to have y'all call in and tell me what you think. And then we're going to have more conversations with regards to money, getting paid, new opportunities you can get into, how to start your businesses, how to grow your businesses, how to grow your net worth, getting your credit right, things like that. So more conversation like this can change our entire economic trajectory. Yes, absolutely. That's the goal. There are many arenas that pique my interest. I just have to narrow down. You will. Just over time, you'll pick something. So in learning Splunk, blockchain, and metaverse. Yeah. So all right, ladies, have a happy Sunday, and I will see you all next week. Take care.
Have a good week, y'all. Bye now.
Thank you, Computer and Coin. I really enjoyed having you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.